Thank you so much, Janice, for inviting me here. Thank you for sitting and having such an event. I'm able to come and share my experience. My name is Robert Evans. I'm a life coach, recovery coach, and peer advocate. Tonight, I'm going to give you a little bit of background, tell you some of my experience growing up as not only just an adult child of alcoholic, but as an alcoholic and drug addict in my teenage years as well. I can tell you from my experience, the way I felt attending school, being afflicted with drug and alcohol issues. I know, and listen, I'm talking about the early, mid-90s. I know that things have came a very long way since that time, but for me, going through school and trying to speak to some people at school and coaches and teachers, it was very difficult for me to identify or connect with anybody that really tried to understand what I was going through. I know when I went to school, it was much more of a stigma attached to drug addiction and alcoholism. Like I said, I'm an adult child of an alcoholic. Thankfully, my father is sober 21 years now. Actually just celebrated last month. And so going through that, not only I was labeled, my parents were labeled, so it was really difficult for me to, like I said, identify and connect with anybody and get the proper treatment to help me move forward and grow, to not only deal with alcoholism and drug addiction, but to also learn how to conduct myself as a productive member of society away from the relief of drugs and alcohol that I received when I was using. Since nobody knew what to do with me, I was thrown into multiple treatment centers. Back then, they were therapeutic communities, so the treatment was a lot different back then than it is today. So you're talking about a 13-year-old kid going to treatment with 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. The word adolescent was a very wide range when I was going to treatment. And under the structured environment, I can say that it did help me a little bit to conduct myself. I was, in treatment, you're constantly under the treatment center's thumb. You have a very structured day, a very busy day, and I kind of flourished a little bit in the structured environment. The problem was when I came out of treatment, and I go back to high school, and I'm different, and I'm labeled, and I have to not only explain myself to people that don't understand, as far as my peers, but to the teachers, the coaches, the counselors, and trying to live with transitioning from that back to high school and dealing with it and growing in that environment. For me, it was virtually impossible. I'm here today because I think it would be a fantastic idea to start working on a high school for kids in recovery. I believe that now I can't say what would have happened or what could have happened or if I had this or if I did that. I mean, any of us can go back to our life and say a multitude of things that could have changed our life if we did it differently, right? I'm not here to say that. All I'm here to say is I want to do everything I possibly can to give the next kid that felt the way I did an opportunity to not go through the amount of stress and discomfort and the horrifying experience of attempting to recover in a place where nobody really understands you, where you're nothing but a label. And I know for me, growing up, it was, he's a bad kid, he's a troublemaker, he's a drug addict, he's gonna end up in jail for the rest of his life. If everything everybody said about me was true, I wouldn't be here today. Thank God. Unfortunately for me, it took until I was 30 years old to get sober and experience recovery the way I have it now and the way I get to share it with others. So that being said, I really believe that if we can work on starting some kind of school where it can peer-to-peer, where people understand what it's like to be labeled, understand what it's like to be in recovery, understand what it's like to have other people that also understand, adults that can actually help you and teach you how to live your life in a completely different way. Treatment is fantastic. I advocate treatment all the time. It's a great foundation of recovery. It's when you leave treatment and you have to come back into society, and you have to deal with all these things, and you don't have anybody to connect with, you don't have everybody showing you what needs to be done, or how to conduct yourself in society, it becomes a very difficult thing to hold on to. You can do fantastic in treatment center. It's when you come home, you need a place to go where you can develop a way of living away from drugs and alcohol. And like I said, thank you so much for asking me to come up here and speak. Thank you very much for having this panel and giving all these people an opportunity to share their experience as well. Thank you very much. Thank you.